So recently, a super PAC aired a commercial of Jasmine Crockett where they artificially darkened her skin tone. Let's talk about it. Misogynoir is not just a concept of taking misogyny and then laying over general racism. It is a very specific form of hostility that's directed at black women, that targets them as black women, where racism and sexism aren't separate forces, but they're fused together. Now, this term was coined by a scholar named Moya Bailey, and it describes how black women experience a unique kind of contempt that white women and black men do not experience in the same way. It shows up in stereotypes that paint black women as angry, aggressive, unintelligent, hypersexual, masculine, or too much. It's about policing tone, body, ambition, and authority. Now, put that framework next to this super PAC darkening the skin of Jasmine Crockett for their attack ad. This isn't just a common dirty political trick, it is a historically loaded decision. Darkening a black woman's skin taps directly into colorism, which is a hierarchy that exists inside and outside of the black community and other communities that assigns value based on one's proximity to visual whiteness. Historically, lighter skin has been treated as more acceptable or more palatable or more respectable because of the ability to pass, while darker skin has been coded quite erroneously as more threatening, more criminal, or even more dangerous. So when an ad makes a choice to artificially darken her complexion, it's manipulating a centuries-old racial bias to make her appear more menacing, less qualified, more ratchet to their viewers. This is a classic form of visual propaganda. And because she's a black woman, the racial coding merges with gendered stereotypes. Black women in politics are already disproportionately framed as being loud, angry, or hostile when they display the same assertiveness that earns their white colleagues heaps of praise. So if you darken her skin and then splice together sharp sign bites, the ad isn't just arguing against her policy positions. It's trying to activate a subconscious association within you. She's aggressive. She's out of control. She's dangerous. That's misogynoir. And there's a long lineage here. Political media has historically exaggerated the features or skin tones of black public figures in order to stoke fear. It echoes the racist caricatures and even the logic of blackface, altering one's appearance to distort your perception of them. It says we cannot beat her on her ideas, so we will make her body and her skin itself the attack surface. And notice that this is misogynoir specifically and not just racism, because if a black male's politician's skin were darkened, it would be racist. And if a white woman politician were portrayed as shrill or hysterical, that would just be classic sexism. But when a black woman's appearance is manipulated to make her seem more threatening, while playing into narratives about her tone or temperament, it hits at the intersection of both of those concepts. It's weaponized racism and weaponized sexism in one move. It also matters that this is happening in a political context because black women are one of the most consistent voting blocs in the United States, and black women candidates often face disproportionate scrutiny about likability and electability. Visual manipulation in campaign ads like this is designed to exploit bias at mass scale. It's not an accident. It was a very strategic decision. It is a pattern of dehumanization, amplifying perceived anger, framing competence as aggression, and then treating ambition as a threat. When her white colleagues get on the news and pound their chests and make demands for change, they're not perceived as being threatening. When Jasmine Crockett makes a very well-tempered argument in defense of her community, she's framed as angry. This isn't a random pattern. It's part of a larger social script that tries to punish black women for daring to occupy power. Naming it matters, because once you understand that this is misogynoir, you can stop debating about whether this is just a negative campaign tactic and recognize it as a tactic rooted in centuries of racialized gender control. Let me know what you think down below.